Hello again, Christi Barrett. I have the honor of serving now 9 years as the superintendent for Hemet Unified School District. A bit about our district, as I mentioned earlier, we cover about 700 square miles, and within that space, several different communities. We are here for about 22,000 students, 3,700 employees, 28 schools. We are about 86% socioeconomically disadvantaged, and then you can also there see our numbers related to English language learners, foster youth, as well as our students with disabilities. 3 celebrations for us are directly related to the data. Last year, in the development of our scorecard and of our strategic bullseye, and I also mentioned this to you earlier, we are really doubling down on behavior, attendance, and also our feedback loops. You can see here, and again, I won't read it verbatim, but we've had improvement in all 3 of these areas. As it relates to the work around suspension and expulsion, our key strategy related to that are what we have called our daily huddles. And so every day we have our principals logging data from the day before. We jump on a Zoom at 7:45, every principal, assistant principal, cabinet member, myself, and a handful of directors daily to talk about what happened the day before related to student incidents. And then are there any needs that they need to have solved for that day related to safety, that if we don't solve for them, it is likely that we're going to see an increase in student behavior or safety incidents on that particular day. And we do that every day of the school year. Our team has stepped out every morning to make sure that that huddle continues forward at 7:45. As it relates to attendance, again, we have marked improvement. In fact, we're the only school district in the county where we are Riverside County. We're in Southern California, about an hour and a half north of San Diego, about an hour west of Palm Springs. So we have the ocean and the mountains nearby. If you're looking to relocate, we are recruiting. Vegas is only about 3 hours away. Disneyland, we have you all if you want to come. But Riverside County is a large county, and we have, like I said, double-digit improvements. We've implemented a 2x10 strategy to connect with students. We've done home visits. In fact, our Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, Dr. Mary Winland, started an initiative last year with connection counts, and we tested that small scale, and now we have we've scaled that out, if you will, where we have well over 100 students who have traditionally been chronically absent being mentored by members of our management team. Every manager in the system has signed up, if you will, to mentor a student. And then feedback loops, we've hardwired rounding, and then those regular conversations that need to happen with our new employees as they're entering into the system. We just gave our 2nd round of the employee experience survey, and we had some great growth there. And again, we attribute that just to the work that we've done connected to rounding and getting closer to our employees. In terms of 2 strategies, I've already light touched on some of the key strategies that we're implementing in our organization, but here you have our strategic bullseye. This particular framework has helped us have clarity in our organization and for our leaders specifically about what is important to us on the strategies that we are implementing and hardwiring in our system. And you can also see here, we've given them a peek around the corner with what's on the beachhead, and then where is it that we're experimenting and exploring. One of the key strategies that will forever be with us, at least as long as I'm superintendent, is the daily huddle. That strategy has been transformational for us. Not only have we seen improvement in our results, but it's also allowed us to flatten the system, and principals and assistant principals have access to their cabinet and the superintendent in a way that they never have before. And so there's real-time coaching and leadership development that's happening on a daily basis in addition to the problems that we're solving. Another strategy that has really moved the mark for us as we've transitioned into this school year is actually a strategy that's now in our beachhead. We did a small test last year with Experiment and Explore, and that is the leading classroom improvement work. Again, it's been game-changing for us. not only for what it does for kids when we involve them in the very work that affects them, right? The daily learning in the classroom, and how do we get input from them about what's working, what's not, and do those iterative PDSA cycles. And when you have TK students who are doing that, tell me why an adult can't, right? And so good begets good, and as we're leading through the classroom improvement work, it is contagious in terms of what's happening in terms of the way kids think, the way that the adults think, and I'm just really excited and looking forward to what this does for us as a system and for student outcomes as we continue to get people to join in this movement. So we started with the willing and the early adopters, and then folks who don't have a choice, those are our probationary employees. And so again, and the reality is when they come into the system, and this is the culture in Hemet Unified School District, we're doing it with them and not to them. So I say that jokingly, but again, we're building a culture as people are coming in while also working on those that are already there. Lastly, in terms of what's next for us right now, what's top of mind is our employee experience survey. We just completed our second administration, and we now have those results back. And it is great that we improved, but we want to make sure that we just didn't get lucky. We really want to focus on leading, moving from luck to leading. And so we want to be really intentional in working with our leaders in how they're using that data, how they're engaging their specific teams, and not only talking about the problem, but then also engaging with them on what are the solutions to attack that problem. And so even though I do believe that last year we were successful, we learned a lot from last year, and so we must be good stewards of that learning. And now how are we iterating on that and becoming better this year as we roll out those results?